Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone across, depending on your time. For those who were sleeping and we had to wake you up for the webinar, we're very sorry about that, but I believe you would find out it is worth it. My name is Anthony. You most likely know me as Adiba03. I'm a developer with ChronoLogic, and interestingly enough, this is my first webinar. And just going to go over the development updates for this week. And I'm going to focus on what we worked on last month, the month of April. Happy new month to all you guys. Going to work basically on what we focus majorly on what we worked on last month and what we are working on presently and what we expect to happen in the next few weeks. That said, I just want to confirm that you guys can hear me. So for all you guys that can hear me, can I have a 1 in the question box just to indicate that you're listening to me? Oh, okay, good. I was beginning to get worried. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you, Raphael. Thank you, Brendan. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Carl. Okay, so let's get this started. Happy new month once again, and let's see how this goes. So first of all, for those of you who are in the Toronto, Canada axis, we are gonna be at EdCon 2018 from May 3rd to May 5th. That's 3 days. And for those of you around, we would love to see you. Our own Logan Seda is going to be giving a talk, and as well as there will be talks from high-profile people from the community, including the Ethereum Foundation. Ethnic Veteran will be around, as well as Gavin Wood, and a host of other high-profile people from the community. So I can promise you that it's going to be fun. You can check out the website as well to find out more about it. So next, I'm going to speak a little about the contract audits. We've been receiving a lot of questions. You guys have been asking, wanting to know what the status of the Ethereum alarm clock audits is. And what we could tell you now is that Zero Knowledge Labs, ZK Labs are going to be working on it, or are working on it, not are going to be working on it actually. They're working on it, and you can check them on Twitter at ZK Labs, and you guys are going to be getting more updates in the coming weeks about the audits, their drafts, their updates, and other things as time goes on. So now, what have we done in the last 1 month, in the month of April? First of all, we completed the MyCrypto integration. This is something we've been working on before the ETHCC conference in Paris, which was in March, and we are proud to say that we were able to complete this last month. Those of you who were at the last webinar would be aware of this already, but for those who are just coming in for the first time or did not get the last webinar, we have been able to complete this. It's been merged into the our pull request has been merged into MyCrypto, and you can definitely find that at better.mycrypto.com. This is fully functional. The scheduling functionality is fully functional on the Kovan chain. So to test it out, you can go over to better.mycrypto.com and switch to the Kovan network. There you would see the schedule button, which you'll be able to make use to schedule your transactions directly from MyCrypto. Next is the Ethereum alarm clock ICO starter, which our own Daniel worked on. So the ICO starter is a simple button which helps your contributors to any ICO schedule their participation in the ICO sale. This is advantageous for those who would be unavailable as at the time of the ICO sale. This also applies to the fact that we are a global community, and as such, some people are going to be in the night at the time the sale is starting, and implementing this, the ICO would be able to include as many people as possible. The button comes with a very easy setup for developers who are actually interested. The configuration includes all the different factors that are needed to set up the shadow transaction. And we have a configuration generator, which you just have to fill in, and then it churns out the config which would be used to set up the button. You guys can check that out at GitHub, chronologic.github.io/EACICO starter, and you guys are going to find out that it's very fun for those of you who have not checked it out. And for those of you who have checked it out, I'm guessing you guys would be remembering how fun it was making use of it by now. So next is the alarm clock protocol version 1.0. This is the upgrade from 0.9.3, and this has been very, very, very large focus of what we've been working on in recent times. We've been able to do a lot with the protocol so far, and we've been able to optimize a lot what Piper gave us, or White Piper had worked on previously, and we have so much optimizations, including the gas, which is the pinnacle of it all, reducing the gas from about 2.5 million to just above 1 million thereabout, and the interface, the old DApp, it's very, very speedy right now compared to when we started, as well as the time nodes are far more efficient. The time nodes are less things to deal with. They have far less hurdles to climb to take part in the whole ecosystem, basically. So this has been very interesting. We are working on finalizing this, and Peter, Logan, myself, and the other team members have been hard at this, just trying to ensure that we get it right, since we know that that is the focus of it all. So next we have the Chronos Protocol. Chronos Protocol, for those who do not know, is the Ethereum alarm clock version 2. This is basically the alarm clock on steroids. We've been able to, let me put it this way, switch from Clark Kent to Superman with the alarm clock, and a lot of things are still in development, but we have really been able to make a lot of progress, including the temporal versus the conditional scheduling. The conditional scheduling is basically having the alarm clock check some conditions to be able, before going ahead to schedule your transactions. Now this has a whole lot of application, and we've seen a whole lot of interest in it in recent times, and I can tell you guys that this is going to be very interesting. Even as we're working on it, we are really having fun, and I wouldn't say just fun because of what we're doing, but because of what we know we're working towards. Also, we worked on improving the claiming mechanism. Now, this is going to be very of interest to you guys, because this implies that the day token holders are going to be very well taken care of, right? You guys have been behind us, you've been working with us all along, and you've always shown your support, and this helps. The claiming mechanism basically helps us to be able to give the day token holders priority in the claiming mechanism, and that is something that we are also getting close to finalizing, and I can only speak for myself. But as a matter of fact, I should speak for myself and the whole team when I say this is something that is going to be the Chronos Protocol as a whole is going to be a big game changer. Also, we've been working on confidential transactions. This was mentioned a lot in during the conference in Paris at CC. This was asked a lot of times, and people said this is something that is going to be interesting, and we have also been working on that, and there'll be a POC for that very soon. Logan has been working on it alongside Peter, and you would get some more information about that in the coming weeks. Um, Next, or one of the major things, as I said, we've been working on is the claiming mechanism, right? And I would try to see if I could break this down as much as possible, so you guys get the gist of the mechanism. So, for instance, let's say we have um, a bunch of time nodes who are waiting to execute transactions, right? And what that means is that we have, for every new scheduled request that comes into the pool, we have a bunch of time nodes who are waiting to execute or claim the transaction. The claiming mechanism comes in the sense that it gives priority to those who should have priority. Now, this is determined by your ether balance, as well as your day balance, such that those who have higher day balance are able to get priority above those who have lesser balance. So this allows such a time node who stakes a higher day balance, basically, to have a preference in the claiming mechanism. So, for instance, if we have 3 time nodes with 200 or 110 day tokens, which they are ready to stake, the node with the 200-day tokens will have preference over the node with the 100-day tokens, and that would also have preference over the node with the 10-day tokens. This also applies to executing transactions which were not claimed. Now, there are some situations where either a transaction is not claimed, or it was claimed, but the node which claimed the transaction was unable to execute it. Now, the claiming node will pay a price for not actually executing the transaction, but then the time nodes that are left in the pool would get the opportunity to execute the said transaction. Now, in that case, the mechanism comes into play and then gives the preference to those with higher stake to basically get in with a priority to the top of the list and be able to execute such transaction and get the bounty attached. That's just a short description of the way the claiming mechanism works. If you would like to check out more about it, you should definitely check the GitHub, github.com/chronologic/chronos. You would find out more about it there. So that's basically that is basically the webinar, and you guys should remember we have links from which you guys can reach us, and you can also update yourself. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us through any of the available means. So now it's time for questions and answers. So just put up your questions in the question box, and I would answer what I could. Okay, this is from Next Level. It says an executed claiming penalty, a power failure in the wrong moment, or a dropout in my internet connection, or a bug in the code can make me losing days if I run a time node. Too much risk to run a time node. So definitely a power failure could be a cause of the problem, as well as a drop in internet connection. This is part of the price we have to pay dealing with stakes. the proof of stake, which is also being worked upon by the Ethereum Foundation, also has such mechanisms to ensure that bad actors who are intentionally going against the consensus are punished for it. So it's a system which works hand in hand, basically. Okay, this is from Matt G. He says, is it possible to set up time nodes now? Is there a guide? Yes, it is possible to set up time nodes now. You can check the blog, blog.chronologic.network. You would find an article about setting up a guide. Next is from Brendan Valentine. Says JP Morgan's Quorum and some other mainstream debt finance projects are sympathetic to this. Okay, so I don't really understand the question you're trying to ask, but I don't know if you could rephrase the question. I couldn't really get the question. I couldn't see a question in there, basically. Okay, so seems to be that that is all the questions. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I see. Brendan just asked the question again. Will there be session support for setting up time nodes once it goes live on the mainnet? Yes, that can be taken care of, I guess. But I guess that can be taken care of. But we would definitely have as much articles and as much descriptions out there as possible, even within the DApp. You have a link to a tutorial which helps you with the process. Brendan also says was asking about strategic partnerships. Well, we've been initiating and setting up some partnerships in the over the last few months, and we still have a lot that we are still trying to put together. So I can tell you that that is actually very active, and you would be finding more about that in the next few weeks. Martin says, is the mainnet launch still 10 weeks out approximately? I would say in the coming weeks, because this depends on the audit, as we all know. So I can't really give a specific time, but yes, it's going to be coming up in the coming weeks. Cool. This is from Brendan. Cool. I'm probably going to set up a time node using a desktop computer, if not my cell phone. Yeah, that is fun. That's going to be fun. We can tell you that you're going to have fun doing that. You could check out app.chronologic.network to check out the TimeNode, the DApp, and see what we have so far. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you very much, and see you all around. Remember to come to the Telegram and reach out to us, and thank you very much.